On this episode of the Team Podcast, we're breaking down free agency, everything that's happened, everything we think is going to happen, and all the winners and losers. So come join myself, Smythe, as well as Mark and KCJ as we break down free agency in this latest episode. You can also listen to the Team Podcast in your favorite place to get yours. That includes Spotify Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else, as well as our favorite social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course my personal favorite, Tumblr. See you soon. Smythe hosts the Team Podcast. We love sports just like you. Welcome to the Team Podcast. I'm Smythe. I'm the host for this episode. With me, I got my man Mark.
Yeah, hello.
And my man KCJ Ford.
Don't forget the J.
That's right. Today, it's simple, guys. NBA free agency. It's underway. A lot of moves have been made. And it needs to be talked about. A lot of people are covering it, but I'm not going to lie. A lot of people are getting it wrong. Have you heard what Woj has been doing for the last week or so? Have you been seeing what Woj has been doing?
I've seen it, but Woj is like a meteorologist. Like he can only predict so much. Like obviously, you know, if he's not in the boardroom and walking out and saying and tweeting these things and posting them on social media, you're gonna get him wrong. He hasn't been wrong before. It's just a free agency that's, you know, ups and downs.
It's time.
I find he's saying a lot of nothing.
Yeah, he's
wrong. He's just reporting on nothing.
The thing about Woj is 100% accurate on things that he says. But sometimes if he doesn't have anything, you're right. He'll give you a speculation or he'll give you something that's a take on something that's already true. Instead of him, like, he's not really going out in the dark and guessing anything, predicting anything. He has so much respect because I think his journalism skills are just so good. So he just works his way around and people are just like, Woj is always correct. Half time though, he's not really talking about anything.
Well, when he does he's usually the first.
He does know.
Right? So he's usually the first one to report on stuff. So that, you got to give him respect. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. But this offseason, I've noticed a lot of Lakers are confident they'll land Kawhi. Well, of course they are. So are the Clippers and so are the Raptors.
Yep.
Right? He was right about the sign and trade with Jimmy Butler, just to the wrong team.
Yep.
Right? So, I mean, it's a lot of speculation. I guess that's what sports media is, because frankly, everyone, especially on ESPN, is doing it. It's kind of tiring, to be honest. I stopped watching and stopped paying attention.
Right.
Because it's just every day it's a different thing. And different thing, but the same thing at the same time.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to just break into the first thing. Let's get it all out of the way. Kawhi Leonard has not signed yet to a team. By the time you hear this, he still will not decide on a team. So it's still up in the air. And I'm going to go around the table and ask where you think he's going to wind up. So I'm going to start with you, Mark. Where do you think Kawhi Leonard is going to play next year?
I feel like he's going to go to the Lakers. Like, the man just wants to go home. And I feel like Toronto's just doing the most right now. Like, how you going to have a helicopter, watch him land, and track him all the way downtown? Like, you're going on like he's Barack Obama or like some high-end president.
He is our Barack Obama, but keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, so I think I wouldn't be surprised if he goes home and goes back to LA.
KCJ Ford.
I think he's going to sign with the Raptors, not because I'm a Toronto fan, but mainly because I don't think he'd want to play with LeBron. I think he wouldn't mind playing with AD, but I don't think he wants to play with LeBron. I do want to touch on what Mark says. That helicopter stuff, that camping outside of his hotel,
covering it.
That was pathetic. That was embarrassing. Right? That was embarrassing. Like, it's not even about give the man some space. It's like, there's more important stuff to be covered.
100%.
Right? So,
you guys need to know the importance of who he is right now for us.
I have a quick question, though.
Yeah.
KCJ, if he comes back, are you load managing like you did last season? Because obviously we've seen, and as we'll talk about now, some of these transactions, not everything is done yet. There's still more to come. But if the East bumps up and gets a little more aggressive, it has better players, can you afford to load manage like you did and still maintain a good team and a good record?
I think they will load manage him. I think they will load manage Kyle Lowry. And they will probably load manage Marcus Gasol, to be honest with you.
I was gonna say, you can't stop there.
Where they're going to get the young guys to play. And because they don't, as long as they make the playoffs, they don't care.
Yep.
Right? So that's the mentality. That was the mentality this year. That's why they never chased Milwaukee for first place in the East. I think you have to load manage. And I think you're going to see a lot more load management, quote unquote, across the league.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that because that's definitely. Now, here's my take. There are two scenarios for Kawhi Leonard, and I think there are only two scenarios. Scenario one, Kawhi Leonard signs a 2-year deal with the Raptors. The reason why, he hits his 10 years, can reach his max, and then if he really wants to go home, he can go play with AD when LeBron's on his way out. And now you're going to get into your 30 season, which is basically your prime years, 30 to 32, 33. You and AD can now go and give the Lakers a few chips without all the hassle. Because right now, if you go to LA, the rest of that Lakers team is going to be people on minimum contracts and veteran deals. Either old as dirt or not good enough to sign anywhere else. You want 9 players that wouldn't be in the league if it didn't go to that team? Do you think that those 3 guys can take J.R. Smith, Chris Dudley,
we see
Caldwell Pope?
Look at Miami. They did it.
Mm-hmm.
Miami did the exact same thing. If the 3 players are good enough,
LeBron is really old now.
LeBron is not really old, and you're going on like LeBron.
Defense.
You're acting like LeBron averaged 14 points a game when he played before he got injured. He didn't. He was averaging pretty good numbers.
He was playing great.
Yo, the team was what, 5th before he got injured?
Yeah,
But guess what? He got injured.
but that
Okay.
it's a sport. I can get injured getting out of bed.
Anyway, the second scenario for Kawhi Leonard that nobody's talking about is if Kawhi really wants to go home and he said, Toronto, I want to go play for the Clippers or the Lakers. A sign and trade with Toronto where Kawhi gets his 5-year max and gives the Raptors pieces out of respect. Because if he asks for a sign and trade, Masai Ujiri is going to say, yes, you deserve that. And if we go and we tinker and take some assets from the Clippers, we'll be fine with that. And the fact that he flew here yesterday on a plane makes me think that Kawhi is trying to justify staying in Toronto. If he can't justify it to himself, his family, and his team, I think a sign and trade is what he's asking for, so he gets his 5th year and his max contract. No one talks about that. But it's a super likely scenario. We saw what happened with Jimmy Butler already.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I can't see him deciding to leave and just leaving the Raptors high and dry.
I wouldn't say it'd be high and dry. I think he made his intentions clear when he asked for the trade from San Antonio. So it's not like a Chris Bosh scenario or anything like that. But you're right. It is actually a very intriguing idea. Yeah, I don't know what to say on that. I had to think about that one.
Yeah, I think it's crazy no one's even talked about it. But hopefully he decides by end of day tomorrow, and then this drama's over, and we can move on, or we can celebrate another championship.
I don't know. For me, it's like he's undecided. That's great. Someone just let me know when it happens.
Yeah.
I don't think he's undecided. I think he doesn't play by other people's timelines. I think no, it's not about stubborn. I don't think he cares.
Yeah, I hear you.
Right? I don't think he cares about the media. You're right. He shouldn't. About signing first day and splashing on Instagram and Twitter like Durant and Irving and
he really don't care about that.
Right?
And that's why I'm saying he kind of rocks to the beat of his own drum set. So it's like if he left, you can't chastise the man. You can't boo him if he comes back here to play against the Raptors because he just he has his intention set. Doesn't have to publicize him. If he wants to go home, let him go home.
I don't think we boo him though. I think everyone would understand if he goes home.
If he goes to play with LeBron James, we're gonna boo him. There's no questions asked about that.
And he won't care anyways.
He won't care. But man, are we gonna boo him?
I don't think so.
The next, if he goes to the Lakers, first we're gonna say, "Oh, he left. Respect his choice." Then we're gonna say, "Yo, LeBron took our best player," and then we're gonna be mad.
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
I don't think so. I disagree. I honestly believe people would just. If he went to another team outside of LA, then people would be mad.
I don't know, man.
But the only people that are going to boo him are all the, I can say pretty much most of Canada, the people that aren't basketball fans.
Canada.
Because I honestly, like, aside from like just touching on the Raptors for a bit, the amount of times I'm walking or catching the streetcar, and the amount of people I see wearing the championship shirt, the hat, or
makes you wonder, where did all these people come from?
But I'm looking at these people, and you don't. Obviously, you can't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah,
but you don't. But
I was about to say that.
I am.
You're doing right now.
I am. But they don't look like they're avid basketball fans. If I had to ask them about anyone else in the NBA, they'd probably be looking. They'd probably give me that dumb look.
Yep.
Yep.
That's not their fault. They're bandwagoners. Let
Now,
them
is there
bandwagon.
anything wrong with that?
No.
I
was a bandwagon Blue Jays fan when they were winning. When Joey Bats flipped that bat,
you're on board.
I was screaming at home, and I was on board.
Yeah,
So
you see that now. But it's like you look at I lost my train of thought now, man.
What do you look at, bro?
But you look at the Raptors now, and it's like everyone's talking about the Raptors, and like, or even like the hotel, like the amount of people, like you see, if you see the video, look at everyone that's standing outside that hotel.
Fans.
Looks like a regular Joe Blow, just standing there.
They all want to know too,
making this makeshift sign talking about Kawhi stay and like let's run it back for the championship.
You know what's great?
I think those people are true fans.
I don't think
the ones that are out there, because they're out there. Here's what I think.
Fair weather fans don't do that.
Listen, they're Toronto fans that can't cheer for the Leafs. That's all they are, right? If the Leafs were good and the Raptors were good as well, they'd probably be Leaf fans. But the Leafs can't get out of the first round, and the Raptors just gave them a championship. They're going to support. Toronto is full of supporters. You'll have enough people showing up to even things like someone's at a hotel doing a meeting. That's how this city works.
Following the man in a helicopter.
We'll get to a few more teams later, but I want to start going down a list of winners and losers from free agency, okay? Because I'll be honest, this was the most players I think ever available in a free agency period ever. About half the league was available to switch teams or move between restricted and regular free agency this year. So we're going to go through a couple winners, but we got to start, I guess, with the number one winner of free agency. It's not even over yet, but it doesn't really matter. The Brooklyn Nets are the victors. I'll just run down quickly what they've done. Kevin Durant announces his plan to sign with the Nets. Kyrie Irving agrees to deal with the Nets. DeAndre Jordan also has decided to join the Brooklyn Nets. Wilson Chandler decides to join the Brooklyn Nets. By the way, they only lost D'Angelo Russell. So these guys, absolute victors. My question to you guys is, does this take them any deeper in the playoffs this first year without Kevin Durant?
Second round.
That's further. That's progress. That's all I'm saying.
That's about it.
That's progress. Casey?
I don't understand. Without Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving hasn't proved anything to me. The guy has not won.
He's won.
Without a superstar player beside him, he has not proven anything.
Yeah, but next year he'll have one. That's not...
Next year he won't.
No, the year after. Sorry, after next
so
year.
So to me, I don't think they're getting out the first round
Next
without
year.
Durant.
But after that,
no, they'll get out the first round. Like I said, nobody will know the true essence of this team until Durant comes back. And when he comes back, will he be at 80%, 90% of what he was?
Durant at 80% is still second best, third best player in the league.
Yep.
Right. So I agree with you. Once Durant is back, they're the best team in the league, unless something massive happens. Obviously next year.
somewhere else goes.
That's a stretch, I think.
You don't think so?
No.
Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, DeAndre Jordan.
DeAndre Jordan's just a big man.
Joe Harris, best shooter in the league.
Wilson Chandler.
He won a 3-point competition. That's about it.
Hey.
Okay, well, what team is better?
I'd still say if they had to go, if you had a Durant and you had to go up against Houston, Houston can still give him a run.
Come on. Chris Paul plays on Houston. Anyway, here's what I think. I think that this year, if you look at this Brooklyn Nets team, they are 0% better than they were last year. And I'll tell you why. D'Angelo Russell had one great thing about him that made this team actually work. And I know he's an all-star, but he doesn't need the basketball in his hands to be effective. If needed, he's a spot-up shooter. Right? Kyrie Irving, if needed, needs the basketball at all times.
Of course.
And Kevin Durant's going to come on the court, who also likes to have the basketball, and you're going to have basketball issues. I understand they're talented, but they're older. They've been through a lot. They're going to get in at the end of their careers. You need young guys that are going to play hard and play defense. This Brooklyn Nets team is used to sharing the ball. D'Angelo Russell was actually at his best when he was a threat to shoot, and his triple threat stance, he moved out of it. He wasn't a guy that dribbled and shot step back threes and stuff like that. That was rare for him. These guys created offense, and he got to benefit from it. Kyrie Irving isn't that guy. He's not going to let the rest of these guys create. He's also not good at creating for others when you really think about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's why I said I don't think they'll be a playoff team, but I don't think they'll be any better.
That's it. Like, I don't see, like, you say you have Joe Harris, you still have Spencer Dinwiddie. So it's like those two guys are your shooters, but if he wants to now put the ball in the paint, put the ball on the ground and then go to the basket, those guys, I feel like their shot attempts are going to decrease by 2 to 3 going into next season.
That's a good, fair assessment. It's also a very calculated 2 or 3 shots they're going to lose.
Well, I'm not going to say if you're averaging, 15 shot attempts, you're going to go shoot 8. Kyrie's not a black hole.
He's pretty damn close to one.
I mean, if we were defining what a black hole is, he's pretty close. Number 2 team, winner, free agency, Indiana Pacers. They added Brogdon via sign and trade. Also added ex-Hornet guard Jeremy Lamb. Hey, also added TJ McConnell. Just saying. Who's got value there?
And Oladipo's coming back.
That was the key component I was going to say is they get back Victor Oladipo. And now you have a decent backcourt. You have a potential one of the most improved player candidates in Sabonis. You still got Miles Turner. This is a playoff team. I'm not sure how far they go, but they're good, and they're winners in free agency. Is there a ceiling for these guys outside of the second round?
No.
Remember, they were top before Oladipo went down. They were top 4 seed.
They're top 4, but like you said, TJ McConnell's not
off the bench.
I'm not really worried about him.
Yeah.
You get Brogdon, which you've seen how effective he can be.
Yeah.
Jeremy Lamb's had his time. I felt like Jeremy Lamb had his best years when he was in OKC. Since then, he's been kind of
not doing it.
Like even in 2K, like he's on the bottom of the bench.
Wow.
So he's not coming in early. And then with the retirement of Darren Collison, it's like you lose another premium guard there.
Yes, they did lose out.
So now what are you doing? You're putting pressure on those guys. Now you just signed to pick up for his slack, right?
Yep, that's true.
I think Indiana will be a very good team.
I think they're going to be back in the top 4.
Yep, I agree.
Those are a bunch of guys that, and it's I don't know how to say it, but I feel like it's easy for them to gel. They rallied around Victor Oladipo, who is not an all-star by any means. They didn't have to let that guy be their star, but they understood what it takes to win, and I feel like they got a good chance to do some damage this year. Next winner, Philadelphia 76ers. I know. Now, they add Al Horford, who took a lot of money from Philly. He gave up $30 million for 1 year, but I think he signed $109 million over 4 in Philadelphia. He's old.
I don't understand. Why do you consider this a good move?
Can I finish?
Don't interrupt the man.
Well, we're talking about Horford, right? So I was asking, why do you think that's a good deal?
Because he's an all-star level player that now plays on your team. But listen to the rest of it, though. Tobias Harris on a 5-year max deal. Okay, they get Richardson over from Miami in the Jimmy Butler trade, which he's a worse version of Jimmy Butler, which is fair. Okay, They land Kyle Quinn, who cares? Ennis returns. Okay, we're pretty much done with what they've done. What I'm saying, though, is if Joel Embiid, for any reason, can't play, you now have a guy you can literally slot in that takes his production. Not at the same level, obviously, but he can hit the outside shot, he can post up inside, and he can defend. So now you're not losing a massive part of your team if Embiid is hurt.
So Horford's coming off the bench.
No. That's the problem. The problem we're really having right now is Tobias Harris, Horford, and Embiid are all going to start. I don't understand how that works.
This is what I'm asking. This is my question.
I want to speak for our absent host Nash. And when he always talks about that, the reason why the 76ers aren't as effective because Simmons and Embiid occupy the same space. So now you insert another guy. He's occupying even more space. You're putting three big guys in a box and expecting them to work. And then you have Tobias Harris that's going to stand on the outside, which is equally the same height as everyone else on that team right now. But you're going to have him just wait on the wing like Danny Green.
No one's taking away from Al Horford, right? And no one blames Al Horford for taking the money. My question is like Mark just said, how does he fit with this team?
Here's my thing. Tobias Harris had the Los Angeles Clippers the top of the West. He's a good player. Al Horford is the glue that made Boston a respectable basketball team. Without him, they suck. Let's admit it. He's a good player. Joel Embiid's an all-NBA talent.
That's not in shape.
Well, maybe he comes back.
Let's say he gets in shape.
Yeah, let's say he comes back and he's healthy. Ben Simmons is a good player without a jump shot. He's about to get a max deal too. They have value in him. This is the four-headed monster they had before. You switch out Al Horford for Jimmy Butler. I get it. But this is a good basketball team.
This is good basketball players.
It'll
be interesting to see how they play together at the same time. Listen, you're absolutely right. It may work. But when you look at it from the outside, you're wondering, how do these players fit together on the basketball court at the same time?
I feel that some people are going to have to now show some sort of onus to a section. So it's Embiid might have to now not take those jumpers and start actually really putting his back to the basket and leaving those jumpers for Horford now. Just depending on situations like on the court, like if Embiid's off, then yeah, Horford will now shoot down and play that post mid-range game, so it allows an area for Ben Simmons to work properly. But if they're all on the court, it's like you said, everyone has to play a role now.
Is it like on the process part 2 now? So they're just experimenting and hoping it works out?
I think Elton Brand doesn't know what he's doing.
Well,
but here's a question: did they get Horford? And you alluded to this because they fear Embiid getting injured.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's absolutely backup in case Embiid can't play every game.
So if you look at it from that standpoint, it's a good move.
But
it's an expensive move. But
I was going to say, you spent $100 million in case your $180 million guy gets hurt. Is that what they're just saying?
But to me, that's the only way it makes sense.
That's fair. That makes sense. Okay, moving on. Another winner, the Utah Jazz. Remember that trade they made for Mike Conley?
Mm-hmm.
They also add Bogdanovic, big man Ed Davis, journeyman Jeff Green, and Moutier.
You could call Ed Davis a journeyman too,
It's true. Back-to-back journeyman.
They picked up Jeff Green?
Yep, they picked up Jeff Green.
I thought they were just talking about... I swear I just saw the other day that he was going to sign back with Washington.
Why would you go to Washington? You can go to Utah.
Okay.
It's just a choice. Add that to Joe Ingles, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, and I'm not going to lie, I'm excited to watch this Utah Jazz team play this
This guy missed some Joe Ingles.
Don't mess with Joe Ingles.
The substitute teacher.
Joe Ingles is... if I had an all-NBA team and I could only take 12 players, Joe Ingles comes off my bench.
Man shaped like a bag of milk.
And he's tough, and he knocks down shots, and he looks in your face and he says, "I did that to you," and you feel sad.
He's like he's like a modern day Jeff Hornacek.
My man, Joe Ingles.
Just a regular looking guy.
That's why he plays over there.
He's the kind of guy you see at LA Fitness for runs on like Saturday morning while his wife's in like a class or something.
Joe Ingles is the next door neighbor on Home Improvement. You know, he never saw his face.
Winston?
Yeah.
Don't worry, Joe. You good. You're a good player, Joe. I like you.
Utah is going to be a nice team. Utah is going to be a really nice team. Fun team to watch.
Here's what I'm going to say. Utah's going to the Western Conference Final.
Whoa, easy.
That's right.
They're better than who then? Who's going to meet them there?
This team can beat the Lakers. No Kawhi.
You're talking like Stephen A. Smith here now.
No Kawhi. This team could beat the Lakers. No Kawhi. You look at this basketball team. First of all, the one position they were lacking, they got better. Mm-hmm. Conley's much better than Ricky Rubio. You add a shooter like Bogdanovic, you got a scary team.
Oh, they're a good team. I think they're better than Houston. They're obviously better than Golden State right now.
Are they better than Denver?
See, that's the question. Are they better than Denver and they're better than the Lakers? Are they better than Portland?
In a 7-game series,
I think they're better than Portland.
Denver's beatable.
True, but Denver's a very good team who learned some good lessons last year.
Oh.
And they will be better next year.
Who?
Nuggets.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Portland hit that below. Portland lost some people.
But Portland, yeah, they did lose some people. They got Whiteside.
That's it.
I don't think that's positive.
I think that's an awesome pickup.
Yeah, but we lost 2 big men in the process.
Yeah, but one of them you weren't going to play, and you're getting back Nurkic.
Yeah, that's true.
That's granting they say everything's moving ahead as it should, right?
Yeah, so. If he's not healthy, then it doesn't really matter. Okay, so Utah's deadly. The next team that I think is a winner of free agency is the Golden State Warriors. If you look at this team and you look at what they lost and look at what they gained, how much worse do you think they get?
What exactly did they get?
They traded, say, Kevin Durant for D'Angelo Russell. Mind you, Kevin Durant didn't play to end last season. Mind you, Klay Thompson is not playing till it's Klay Thompson's crazy. I'm going to say Christmas. I'm going to say in January he's going to come back and pretend he could play again. He might hurt himself again. We don't know. But he's not gone the whole year. So at some time you're going to see Russell, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson on the same floor.
So Russell playing the 2 to start?
Russell will play the 2. Klay will play the 3. He has the size. He could play the defense. I don't think it matters at that point. Okay? If they bring back Cousins, I don't see why they wouldn't bring back Cousins. I'll be honest with you.
We're going to talk about Cousins later, I understand.
Okay.
So I'll hold my opinion.
We'll get to him a little bit later. But the change, you go from a ball-heavy Kevin Durant back to a team that moves the ball around a lot more.
They still move the ball around a lot, even with Durant.
So they got Willie Cauley-Stein because they're going to play more pick and roll because they think they have to now because they don't have the talent they used to have.
Well, I find like Willie Cauley-Stein, if he can play like how he played in Sacramento, he'll take away minutes from Kevon Looney. Because again, he's athletic, he's younger, he can. You throw the ball up, he'll get it. Yep. And I'm assuming he has a decent back to the basket game over Looney. So,
do you think he'll need a back to the basket game in Golden State?
Golden
State centers just catch alley-oops.
But when they slow it down, if they need to slow it down at times,
need something, need a tool. I think that was a great secret pickup that people aren't really talking about.
Maybe it's because I hold the Warriors at a higher tier.
Yeah.
I don't think this was a win for them. Losing Kevin Durant is not a win.
But you're losing Kevin Durant anyways. You got to remember
Doesn't matter. Losing Kevin Durant is not a win.
I don't know.
Right? So I disagree with putting them in the winner spot.
Well, what if you said this? Even if he stayed, he's not playing next year anyway.
At least he's staying for a few more years. Right? I'm sorry. So I disagree with this one. The other two
are okay. Well, how about this? I know these two are going to be the tough ones, but how about this? D'Angelo Russell, like I said, he's an all-star. He's okay on the ball, but he's a great shooter off the ball. He's great at having people create the space for him and knocking down shots. We've watched him hit 8 threes and a half against Toronto last season. D'Angelo Russell with a ton of open shots on a team that values floor space. He can go to the basket. He might average 20 here.
Brooklyn spaced the floor extremely well too.
Yep.
Right, they shot the ball a lot.
Yep.
Right, so I don't think we're going to see a huge jump in his numbers, to be honest. Don't get me wrong; they did the best out of
The poor situation.
a bad situation, right? But I would just say I wouldn't call them winners. I wouldn't necessarily call them losers, but I wouldn't call them winners.
Okay. My last team, and this is the one team that I'm not sure if I put on the winner's side, is the Boston Celtics. And I'm going to tell you why I put them on the winner's side. They move out. They lose Kyrie Irving. They bring in Kemba Walker. They sign Enes Kanter. You now get Jaylen Brown into a starting role. You have Tatum. You can also, if you want, start Gordon Hayward again, even though I don't understand why it's a big project to have that guy starting. Your young guys have a chance to ball. You're putting them beside all-stars, and you have Kanter. I don't know what this team's going to be, but I will say this. They're trying. They did not roll over after losing their 2 all-stars.
Well, a lot of people were upset that the Celtics didn't trade for AD because they obviously had the assets to do so. I mean, I didn't think it was a bad move not to trade for him. I agree with you. I think Boston did extremely well for losing 2 of their best players.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else you want from them, sort of thing. What do you think they're going to do this year, Mark? Do you think they're going to be a bust, or do you think it's gonna work out for them?
I think it'll be. They might start off a little rough, but I think they'll level out, and I think they'll make it back to the playoffs. I don't see them not making the playoffs because. And I was talking with some other coworkers today, and we're looking at the standings from last year.
Yep.
And I don't see why the same 8 teams that made the playoffs last year don't repeat this year. It's just as far as standing wise, things will be shuffled around a bit.
That's fair.
Do you think Kemba will get I shouldn't say new life because he was still great in Charlotte, but has he been to the playoffs? He was in the playoff once, right?
Yeah, he went once. I don't know.
Do you think this will be a resurgence for him? Do you think?
No.
I think slightly because now he has a better team or better people around him. Like he has a more experienced Tatum, Jaylen Brown. He has Enes Kanter, which you've seen a decent big man, gritty, can get in there. So I don't see why he can't feed off of that and then be able to get back to the playoffs, get a little more experience, and he knows that if he makes it there, that he has a team that has been there already and knows what they have to do.
And a well-run organization. Every team makes mistakes, but it ain't Charlotte. That's not
true.
A well-run organization.
MG.
So I agree with Mark.
Here's my gripe about this guy. In Boston, they let go of Kyrie Irving, and they said they wanted to get rid of Kyrie Irving. And what is Kyrie Irving? He's a high-scoring, high-usage point guard. What is Kemba Walker?
It's not why they wanted to get rid of Kyrie Irving, though.
What is Kemba Walker not the exact same?
But that's not why they wanted to get rid of Kyrie Irving.
I get the attitude stuff, but it really started with those young guys wanted their shot. They wanted the ball.
And they also didn't want to be called out in the media, and they didn't want to deal with this guy who was pouting all the time. That is why they wanted to move away from Kyrie Irving.
That's the management. But the team wanted a guy that shared the ball.
But I think with Kemba, he didn't have an option. Like you've seen Kemba's teams the last couple of years. There was no one there, so he had to do it. So the man got a nickname. The man deemed Cardiac Kemba because he had to hold the ball and try to create a shot for himself. But that was the main thing.
Now you take the ball out of Kemba's hand and you give him less usage. Is he still an all-star?
Yeah, because now you've seen what Boston can do. You've seen them. They'll work the ball around. So Kemba might still be. I feel like his shooting will be a little more efficient because he won't be like a D'Lo, but he'll get some shots off the ball.
More like a Lowry.
That's fair.
Just not as fat,
right? You just
Sorry.
I can't say nothing. But no, seriously, I think his number, like Lowry, his numbers went down as the team got better.
Yeah.
But he was still a very important part of the team. I feel Kemba would have that same
effect.
Yeah.
So, do you think they finish better than 4th this year?
The East is nice.
I think they finished 4th again.
Yeah, me too.
But it's a battle. It'll be a battle between them.
The
Either
East is
losing.
nice, right? Like,
okay. Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
That's it for my winners. Fortunately, we gotta talk about some losers.
Oh boy, let's go.
Oh man. I'm gonna start with the ultimate losers. I'm gonna start with the Knicks.
Oh, can't we save them for last?
No,
we
I
got
can't.
so much.
I know because I gotta save the Lakers for last.
No, I do. What really?
Yep.
No, man.
Wait till we get there.
Everyone's been dumping on the Knicks.
I know.
How can you put the Lakers last?
Here's why I'm getting the Knicks first. Because everyone knows the Knicks are losers. The Knicks have the simplest story. They said they were going to get Zion Williamson, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. That's what they told their fans. And what they ended up with is RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and a bunch of other guys that we don't know what they're doing. And, I'm not sure if anyone has sympathy for this team right now. I don't.
All right. I got a little tangent here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We can't go over all of it, but we'll.
Oh no, you're ready. Come on.
Okay, so we'll go through as much. The Knicks have been hitting this reset button for how long now? Take a guess, Casey. How many years do you think this has been going on now?
do you consider the Amari Stoudemire years reset?
Were they winning championships then?
They were, but they were a playoff team.
They're good.
Okay, we can include those. But
I wasn't going to include, so I would say since Carmelo got there. So how long ago was that?
Given our age of us, how many years?
If you're talking about championships,
just the team
just how many
actually
years?
being good and consistent.
25 years.
Since Ewing missed the layup.
Yep.
So what year was that?
Since Ewing missed the layup, 94.
Yeah, I think 93, 94.
So I'll give you some dates. 2000. What happened? Ewing packed up. Ewing went to Seattle. Not a lot of people remember that, do they?
I actually don't.
I don't think I'd be hard pressed if someone could even email the Park Daily website with a picture of them actually owning a Patrick Ewing Seattle Supersonics jersey. Because I want to see that. Because I've seen them in it, but to see someone actually own it, I would lie and probably say that you made it yourself.
I don't remember him being on Seattle.
No one does. Nobody does. It's a very rare thing. See, as Smythe sees it right now in front of him, it looks weird.
I just pulled up Patrick Ewing in a Sonics jersey, and he looks like the old man that looks at you when you like cross the street wrong or something. It's just like he's old and dusty, and he's had a long run.
Is that when Kemp was there?
No, this is after.
Wow, I honestly don't remember it at all.
2000.
This is rough.
2000.
This is going on Instagram.
Wow.
Anyway, let's fast forward.
This is the preview picture of this episode.
Let's fast forward. Let's fast forward 2 years. 2002. The Knicks now try to turn around and decide to build a team around Allen Houston, Marcus Camby, Latrell Sprewell.
I remember that team. They were fun to watch.
Fun to watch. You know what else was fun? That huge contract he gave Allen Houston. And what did he do? Retire and take some of that money. Also, remember Larry Johnson took some money and he retired.
Yeah, LJ.
Yeah, that's right.
So already now, that's you tried some stuff, didn't work. Next year, 2003, trade lottery pick for Anthony McDyess.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. He was good in Denver. Not so good.
Trade
Not
a
so good in the
lottery
Knicks.
pick for McDyess. Did he play? He played.
Yeah, he played a little bit, but he was on his decline.
Last
anyways.
legs, yeah.
Also that year, we decided to go all in for Stephon Marbury.
I remember that.
Man.
That was not a good year.
Wow.
He had some hot shoes back then, though. $15. I had two pairs. Anywho, let's go. 2007. The league gets fast, so they decide to let's build with Eddie Curry and Zach Randolph.
I remember that too. That was not a good team.
No.
Yeah, well, the Knicks try though.
Eddie Curry was good at some point
in Chicago.
In Chicago, him and Tyson Chandler, they were good. They were the two young high school kids that were just dominating.
Yep.
But obviously, when they get to the Knicks, too much pressure, just poorly managed team.
I feel like I see where you're going with this.
Yep.
So, anywho, but let's keep this fun train going here. So we're gonna go between 2008, 2010. They decided to say, you know what? That's when LeBron was, fishing around. Let's just tank and try to get LeBron. Remember those rumors about LeBron's going to possibly sign with them? He had those Yankee colorway LeBrons, and everyone was hard pressed that he was going to New York. Didn't happen. He had some of his best games out there too. Obviously, it didn't go as well. 2010, what did they do? They settled on Amari Stoudemire.
Yep, I remember that.
He had his good run with the Suns. Him and Nash. Let's bring him over, see if he can't do something.
He gave us a good 3/4 of a season, though.
3/4. But then injuries. Yep.
But it was a good 3/4. That was a good
He
team.
balled. He tried.
If we're giving out ribbons for almost winning NBA championships, he's got a couple.
He's got a few.
But
he has a lot, actually.
Yeah, he has a lot of those, but that's about it. Participation, just, he played hard. But anywho, let's keep this going. So that February, they trade everything. Who do they pick up? Nothing but your boy.
Yes.
Melo.
The best years the Knicks have had in all those 25 years.
He put
Melo
up.
years.
He was balling, putting up numbers. Did he make the playoffs those seasons?
Yes. They finished 7th one year, and they unceremoniously got bounced from the playoffs.
My man said that so proud.
That is the highlight of Carmelo Anthony's career, actually, by the way. He led the league in scoring that one year, and they went to the playoffs for a little bit.
Wow, that's just poor.
Glorious.
Anywho, so they turn around. What did they do? Pick up an aging Chauncey Billups. And then turn around an Amnesty Billups and pick up Tyson Chandler. So now you've already experimented with two big men. Obviously, now Chandler's a little more seasoned in the league.
He has a chip.
He has a chip.
He's still in the league, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
He'll be a Laker.
Again, possibly. But you bring him in.
Man just chases rings.
But then, obviously, that fun train's still going. They're just not.
Fun train's still going.
They're just not. But they're stagnant. They're up and down. They're stagnant at times. They're just not doing anything. So what happens in 2014? Bring in the old Zen Master now. See if he can fix stuff up.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, see?
Yo, the Knicks tried. It's not a lack of effort. That's all I'm saying here.
We're not saying the Knicks. We're not disputing.
You can't say they don't try.
We're not disputing if the Knicks tried. We're just saying they try all the time.
Every decision's a bad one.
Some teams just try once and they go for a bit. This team's been trying for a while.
Long time.
So anywho, he comes in 2015.
Oh, I know where you're going.
What happens? Nothing. Absolute nothing. Nobody comes in. Team still dismal as ever.
Who did they trade for?
So turn around. We pull in Tim Hardaway, Courtney Lee.
Is that 14?
This 2015 now. No one comes. Tim Hardaway, Courtney Lee. Tim Hardaway Jr., sorry.
Yep.
Everyone. Not Tim Hardaway
Son of
Sr.
a legend. Son of a legend. Shout out to Tim Hardaway.
So you bring in two dismal guards and try to make something work. What happens now? We go into 2016. Joakim Noah. after his good run with the Bulls, man leaves thinking that, you have a gritty big man. He can, sets high picks, high screening rolls, grabs his boards. A gritty player like that in New York is exactly what you want. You want a guy that's gonna, throw elbows, dive on the ground. That's what you want. That's gonna bring back some of that New York mentality to the Knicks. Obviously, nothing happens. What happened? The end of that season, the Knicks draft Kristaps Porzingis. Remember that? Everyone went nuts. People didn't know who this guy was. People are upset with the whole organization. Now we've talked about the Knicks now for 16 years.
You missed a major part, though. We'll get to that after.
Don't worry, I still got a little bit here. But you go get Porzingis. Nobody knows who he was. Everyone's doubting the Knicks. You're like, what's Phil Jackson doing? We're going in the wrong direction.
But it was a good move.
Yes.
He's a good ball.
So we fast forward to now, end of this season. What happens? Kristaps now no longer happy here in New York. Wants to get out. What do? They trade him off, freeing up cap space in the midst of trying to land KD and Kyrie. So now, what's the new plan going in?
R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, Dennis Smith, Kevin Knox, Taj Gibson, Wayne Ellington, Bobby Portis, and a bunch of trash. Alfred Payton. Let's not.
Oh yeah, we can't get Alfred Payton.
Can't forget Payton.
So I got one last tidbit here. 2021.
It's not even here.
There is. We're jumping ahead now because obviously we gotta look ahead because
Going to the future to keep smashing the Knicks.
so a certain individual is going to be a free agent at that point. We now currently call him the league's MVP.
Giannis?
Don't be surprised if the Knicks try to tank and free up some space and try
Brown.
to get a good draft pick and bring over the Greek Freak. But listen here, Knicks fans, it's not going to happen. Dreams don't always come true. The sun doesn't always shine, all right?
Wow. What did he miss, Case?
So, sorry, Mark. Are you?
Yeah,
is
he's
the,
done.
Is the fun train over?
It's over now.
I guess
Knicks
my
are buried.
you play your little horns.
Yeah,
we
it's
put
coming.
someone to bed. We put someone to rest. Basically, it's been years of dumb plans after dumb plans and myths to trying to make something work. And in all those years that I kind of railed off, how many of those seasons or years did the Knicks actually go to the playoffs?
Like
2.
So someone pull up the calculator and do the math and tell me.
No, they can't.
That's almost as bad as that line, that Jay-Z line to Nas. That's about 2 hot albums every 10-year average. That's not looking good right now. I can't be a Knicks fan if 2 playoff appearances in the last 20 years or whatever. Like I can't trust you. I don't care who you pull. I don't care who you put in head office now. I don't care what president. I don't care what GM. I can't put any trust. You have to have a commitment almost. And when you sign, it has to be there for 4 years now. So we have to make this work. Not draft 2 guys, then trade off one of them next season to free up space so we can get another superstar free agent.
So first, 2013, you forgot one of the biggest moves the Knicks did. They traded for, and I'm going to read this, a 7-foot versatile player with good mid-range offensive game, and an ability to stretch the other team's defense.
Oh, man.
Who is that player?
I got to guess. I got ready. Andrea Bargnani.
Toronto fleeced New York so badly that James Dolan nixed the Kyle Lowry trade because he thought he was getting screwed again.
Not
right?
Fool me once.
Exactly, right? So you missed that one. Bargnani was horrible. He left the league, I think, after 2 years after with the Knicks.
Yep. He went to the Nets for a bit.
Yeah, he went to the Nets.
Yep, you're right.
See, I don't see. I can miss that because I don't even remember ever seeing him on. I can't even jog my memory to even see him in the Knicks jersey.
First of all, you truly disliked Andrea Bargnani.
Yes.
Like more than anyone I know.
That's
why I was surprised that you did. Didn't bring it up.
I don't feel like he wasn't that significant impact.
He was their number one option for some years.
Golly.
That was a rough time.
My bad on that one.
Yeah.
So the question I have for you, Mark, and Les, whose fault is it?
What? The Knicks?
And they're
You said the fans shouldn't trust them. So what's the problem?
The
Is
GM.
it because they think they've had multiple GMs?
I did that. All of them.
Over 25 years, they probably had like 5 or 6 GMs.
It's not the right one. Just no one good. No one good.
Is it possible that they believe New York is such a great destination that they don't need to, I don't know, have a good organization? They just believe because it's New York City, players will come?
No. They are always trying to have a good organization. They are always getting the best available players. They are doing the best they can with what they have. I don't really fault like ownership, any of that stuff, because the Knicks are making changes year after year because they know it's not good enough.
But that's the thing. Sorry for cutting you off. Is that you keep making changes year after year.
They don't believe in building through the draft.
Because I'm fine with you making slight modifications, but when you have to make changes now,
Wholesale.
like you're taking 3-4 guys off a 12 roster team, 15 roster team, and these guys that you're getting rid of are guys that played most of your minutes. So now you have to put in 3 or 4 more guys now into that starting or that rotation, and put them with new guys, and it's like, what do you expect?
Hey, I'm not saying they're doing a good job. I'm saying they're always trying.
But that's part of the problem.
Yeah,
That's it. I don't
what
need you to
Mark is
try.
saying.
I need you to make adjustments.
They won 17 games last year.
And they're gonna probably win that amount.
No, they'll be better this year. Here's what I think. I think these are good short-term deals that'll get them out of the basement, not to the playoffs. They'll be back in the lottery, and they probably just won't have a good pick because of it. But I think these are a bunch of serviceable players that will help develop your R.J. Barrett and your Knox to turn those guys into potential players that could score at NBA level. Because R.J. Barrett's going to learn to score at NBA level this year. Why? No one else can. Save Julius Randle, maybe. So he's going to have to put up 20-plus points. Well, that's going to turn him into a good NBA player. You don't have anyone here that's going to hog the ball or take away from him or stop him from doing his thing. They're doing the right thing this year. You have these contracts you can flip for players if you want to, try to get picks out of it, and rebuild your basketball team. This is a smart move. You didn't land any big-time free agents. They thought they would. That was the whole problem. If the Knicks said, hey, we are rebuilding, we're going to use this draft, we're going to pick up some guys, we're going to make sure this team's set for the future, no one would be this mad. But they promised us KD and Kyrie Irving.
Well, they traded. They traded their best player.
Yep.
And Kristoff has gone on record saying he never asked to leave.
That's what he says now.
But why would he lie?
Man, why not?
But why would... Basically... And it didn't actually make sense when
Oh,
I
it didn't
heard
make
that
sense.
he asked to leave.
We all
I'm like,
talked about
that
it.
doesn't make sense.
The only thing that I thought about was maybe he's not healthy.
And I believe New York, if you believe the stories about Kevin Durant and they didn't want to offer him a max,
Yeah.
maybe they don't want to even consider
Paying
signing
a guy
a player
$45 million who's hurt.
Yeah.
Because, to be honest...
They've been burnt so many times.
No, well, and Dallas took a massive gamble. You signed this guy. You gave this guy $170 million. When's the last time this guy played a game?
But he's young.
I get it.
And that kind of injury isn't as bad as it used to be.
You're justifying it is what you're trying to do.
No, I think it's a gamble, yes, but I think it's not like it was 10, 15 years ago where there may be a 50-50 chance he doesn't come back
Well,
as good, right?
Look at DeMarcus Cousins.
DeMarcus Cousins is not the injury. DeMarcus Cousins is the game is past him.
Okay. Last time he was playing, he was averaging 28 and 12.
The game is past him.
Now, look at Porzingis.
But he could shoot.
He hasn't played a game since 2017 Christmas.
He has handles. He could shoot. He's not DeMarcus Cousins. And I don't know why DeMarcus Cousins can't find a team to play on. I really don't understand that.
It's his attitude.
We won't get to him. Okay, we spent a lot of time on the Knicks.
A lot.
Yeah, because we're going to disagree on the next three on your list.
Yeah, the next 3 are quick anyways.
Number 2 is the Milwaukee Bucks.
How are they a failure?
They lost Malcolm Brogdon.
They
That's
lost
fine.
one
They
player.
lost their young player who's 3 years in the league who can actually grow and build with Giannis Antetokounmpo.
But they kept everyone else.
They re-signed
No,
Middleton.
they lost Mirotic.
Mirotic went to Europe for the biggest
But that's
deal
fine. But
ever
that's fine.
signed in Europe, by the way.
But that's fine.
Yeah, but no one saw that one coming.
Yeah, no, the money they paid him, I'm gone too.
No one saw that one coming.
They re-signed Chris Middleton and overpay for Chris Middleton.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
But you can say the same about Tobias Harris.
Okay, we did say the same with Tobias Harris. Brooke Lopez is coming back. Robin Lopez they got, and they moved Brogdon and kept George Hill. They add Wesley Matthews.
I feel like that's fine.
I feel they stood pat. I honestly feel they didn't get any better, but they didn't necessarily get any worse either.
Well,
that's why I say I wouldn't put them in a loser category.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. Last year they won 60 games. They're the best team in the league. You lose your best guard. Remember, you paid the other point guard $70 million, Eric Bledsoe, who we know is not worth that right now. You are now overspending on your backcourt. You now have old Wesley Matthews and Brooke Lopez and his brother holding up your MVP and a bunch of guys who probably are making money they don't deserve. Literally all the way down the rest of this roster. Giannis is a free agent after this year. Do you think that Giannis believes in this basketball team? And that's where I think they are the losers.
It's like Casey said. It's you haven't lost much, and it's too early for us to say that.
Agreed.
Like we're picking early losers because after this podcast is posted, for all you know, they could pick up a premium guard. We're like, well, I guess we're not losers anymore.
Like the New York Knicks, we know they lost.
Yeah, they lost.
But
you can't.
They lost.
Yeah, like they can't save face right now.
Exactly.
Like the Bucks can save face. Like they could easily pick up a guard, and as much as we talk about signing players and trades, we always tend to forget about 3-team trades. Like the Butler one, you thought he was just going to leave and sign,
deal.
but you turn around and do a sign and trade. A third team got involved in it, and before you know it, everyone got a little piece of something, and then it worked out for the better, right? So I feel the Bucks, they won't finish top. They won't finish first, but they'll probably either. I think second. Some chemistry would really have to be off for them to drop.
Who do you think would finish ahead of them? I still think they're the best team in the East.
Oh, you do?
I don't know.
The Raptors.
Well, we don't know what's happening with the Raptors.
The
That's
Sixers.
Not the Sixers.
The Pacers.
Not the
I don't
Pacers.
think the Pacers. The Sixers are interesting, but like I said, I have questions about Al Horford and Embiid playing together. But I still think Milwaukee is the best team. Now, will we see the wall that defenses put up against Giannis? Will we see that on the regular? And will Giannis be able to adapt? Because if he doesn't, then you're definitely right. They're not going to be. They're not going to be that same team.
Like, here's my thing. Giannis won MVP playing like Shaq, right? Speeding guys up inside. He hit the odd outside shot.
And the difference is Giannis had to also bring the ball up.
Yeah, he did that as well. But what I'm saying is that teams know how to stop him now because the Raptors beat him 4 games straight using a very simple
Very
game
simple.
plan. They won't be as good. And now your players aren't as
Well,
good.
what if Giannis puts in work?
He'll put in work.
What's he going to pull? A step back jump shot? What do you
No,
want?
he's going to put in
A
a
killer
jumper.
crossover?
He's going to put in a jumper.
He put in the jumper. If he puts in a mid-range jumper,
He
that's
has a
consistent,
mid-range jumper. In
No,
the
that's
clutch.
consistent.
In the
But
clutch,
the
he
thing is
doesn't
that,
use it.
but the thing is, he's not going to work to. And then things going to challenge him. Kobe's going
Swat that, bro?
to challenge him again to be a better player.
Kobe already challenged me. Won MVP. He can't get much better than being
no,
the best.
He could get a better shot, though.
He can get a better shot. But
He
I'm
can get a
saying
better shot.
in the clutch, he goes away from it. Why? Because it's not.
But that's what we're saying. He's going to work on it this summer.
You want him to take that shot in the clutch.
He's going to take it.
I think he's going to work on his
He won't
game.
take it. He won't take it. He won't take it in the clutch, but he'll take it. I feel he'll take it more in rhythm.
That's fair.
Like he'll find a rhythm shot that if he knows he has a bigger guy that's slower, he'll use that crossover to kind of sway him and have a better shot in rhythm.
Believe me, all that man has been doing since he lost Game 6
He's working on his game.
is watching film to see what Toronto did to him and working on a jump shot. And I would like to believe Ben Simmons is doing the same thing, but
They both
for
are.
some reason I don't
I
believe
hope
he is.
I hope we're both in the same room watching.
Just
together.
hanging out together. Remember that time we lost to the Raptors? Okay, that's fair. So, consensus pick? Are you guys saying that they're not a loser, but they're like a mid tier?
They stood put. They stood pat.
Okay,
right.
that's
They're not a winner, but they're not a loser.
Okay. My next loser is the Detroit Pistons. They add one of the Morris twins to a deal. They signed Derrick Rose to a 2-year deal. I don't know, Frazier, whatever. These guys didn't do anything, and I don't understand. They made the playoffs last year, and if their star player, help me here,
Griffin,
isn't hurt, they could have made some noise. I don't understand how these guys sit so still during free agency and they don't make any attempts to get better when they are on the verge of having a very competitive team.
I don't know about that. That because like you with the addition of Rose, that's he's going to cut into Reggie Jackson's minutes, and you've seen obviously.
Backup. I don't think Detroit had a backup. I think that was a problem.
Yeah, and you can clearly see it's no hidden thing there that Rose is not MVP Rose, but he is consistent. He was consistent. He was pretty consistent coming off the bench in Minnesota. Will he come off the bench here? Maybe. Will he start? Whether he starts or comes off the bench, I feel his production will be somewhat consistent to what he did in Minnesota.
That's fair.
I don't know what to think about this team. I think you look at the roster and you say, oh, there's some good players on this team, but for whatever reason, it doesn't translate into wins.
Well, they got enough wins to make the playoffs last
With
year.
a losing record, I think, or a 50-50 record.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Right?
They're pretty.
So
cool.
I mean,
they got Jaja Pachulia, Tony Snell. I just don't understand how they didn't try to make a bigger splash. This team's only can go up.
maybe they can. Maybe they did. Maybe they just didn't.
Yeah,
We don't know what they tried to do. That doesn't get reported.
that's
right?
true, but but nothing. I don't know. Losers.
Well, they're still. I think they'll still probably squeak into the playoffs.
Oh,
again.
you still give them a playoff spot.
Like I said,
that's pretty.
Well,
big.
it's like I said earlier. I go the same 8 teams that made it to the playoffs.
Yeah,
this
they're going to
this
be
ending
back
season.
in.
I feel like they'll do it.
You don't think Atlanta will get any better? You don't think?
Oh, that'll be better. I think they're still in the lottery though. They're so young.
Okay.
Yeah, very young.
My last loser, and the one we're probably going to talk the most about, is the Los Angeles Lakers.
You're gonna have to explain this one, man.
The Los Angeles Lakers secure Anthony Davis in a trade that gets rid of all their youth and all their future.
Oh, they kept Kuzma.
Thank you. And maybe that's a great thing.
Well,
for them.
Kuzma's your better spot out of
all of them, he was the one I wouldn't have touched.
He's the guy that can score. That's all it is. He doesn't shoot a good percentage. He's a volume scorer, which, maybe that's great. But if the Lakers get anyone else, that makes him obsolete. You got to actually get rid of him. But you take a look at this basketball team, and the rest of this roster is going to be guys on minimum contracts and veterans. So over 10 years league, so they can sign whatever else to put this team over the cap. Because LeBron James and Anthony Davis have this team $30 million from the cap with 6 players under contract. Even if you get Kawhi Leonard, that makes this team respectable. And everyone else is saying that the Lakers are a favorite in the West. But what I'm going to explain to you guys is LeBron James just came out playing the least games of his career, is the oldest he has ever been, and cannot defend at an elite level if he has to put up 26 and 9 and 8.
Why do you think they're going after Kawhi?
I get it. You missed that home run, and that's a home run. And you are looking pretty average.
No.
Anthony Davis hasn't played 82 in how long?
Ever.
Because he is not a healthy dude. You're going to miss 20 games of Davis, possibly 20 games of LeBron. And without those two playing, you're not winning. LeBron couldn't win with Ingram, Ball, and Kuzma. He can't win without Davis. And we know Davis can't win without a lot of help either.
But I'm looking at, for as minimal as that team is, he has a better chance to put up a better record with this shortened team and these minimum contracts than to have a bunch of 23-year-old guys that still haven't really found themselves. Like prior to the season prior, it was Ball, Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, Lord knows who else on that team.
Josh Hart, Caldwell Pope was still there.
But the thing is, you had those guys, and they were in the West, and they were just getting beat up after game. You insert LeBron, and they instantly went 5th before he went down. So even if you load manage LeBron, load manage Davis, and you don't get Kawhi, they're still going to pose a more of a threat than if it was him, Ball, Kuzma, and all those guys.
You have to assume Lance Stevenson's going to be back. You have to assume JaVale McGee is going to be back.
Well, there's a lot of stuff. Like they're saying, there's rumors that I think the Kyle Korver's on the Suns now, but they're saying they're potentially working on a buyout.
He's going to get bought out, and then he can sign there.
They're saying Iguodala's looking to get bought out, and he wants to go to the Lakers.
Not getting bought out. Do you know why? Because you can still trade him for stuff. Why buy him out where you can trade him?
We saw Miami do this already. So players are willing to go play there.
You think that LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and some dusty NBA players are going to be a threat to win the West?
Yes.
Here's what I think. ESPN's all over this. And I think people at ESPN don't even watch the game of basketball. Because LeBron James has to be an all-defensive talent for this team to even compete. Because the rest of these guys can't even play defense.
I'll take the dusty guys. Because when I saw the Denver Nuggets end up with a better record and then got beat up in the playoffs, I'll put my money on the Dusties, man.
Put my money on the Dusties.
The fact of the matter, I agree with you with Anthony Davis. He hasn't proved anything, but LeBron has, and like Mark has already said, they were a good team. They weren't a great team, but they were a good team. 4 or 5 seed, I believe, was the highest they got. They're going to be a good team. Are they the favorites in the West? With LeBron on your team, you are a favorite. I don't care how old he is.
He's old and dusty.
But he's not dusty because the guy was averaging like 23 last year?
But he was playing no defense because he couldn't.
Harden plays no defense, and he almost won back-to-back MVP.
Forget MVP. I'm talking about for this team to win because Houston's got a lot of guys that play defense. This team virtually has
they have a lot of guys that play defense.
Guy.
And they'll fill out the roster with defensive players
that are dusty. J.R. Smith's coming back to play on this team. Do you understand? They're calling him saying, we need you to play. And they're right. They need him. That's the desperation. Tyson Chandler is going to play important minutes for this basketball team. I don't think people have this right. I don't think this is a top team in the West.
I agree. I see what you're saying. I do. I still wouldn't say they're a loser.
Unless they hit the Kawhi Leonard home run, I think this team will struggle to make the playoffs.
Or, to please Smythe, they hit the Carmelo Anthony sack fly.
He's coming. I don't know why you guys think Melo's not playing on this team. Carmelo Anthony's playing important minutes on this
but he's dusty.
I'm not joking. Do you actually think he's coming back?
Important minutes on this team.
But he's dusty.
He's so dusty.
He's dusty.
Will I be happy to buy? Will I get a Melo jersey?
He's more dusty than LeBron.
He's the dustiest guy of the dust. He's coming back.
I do feel sorry for Carmelo Anthony.
I don't feel sorry for him. He took the money.
That's it. Never chase the money, people.
No, nothing wrong with taking
the money.
Hell
with that. Chase the money.
Nothing wrong with taking the money.
True enough. It pays your bills, but it cuts your career short.
Those are our teams. Okay, I'm going to get to what everyone wanted to talk about. Where does DeMarcus Cousins go?
He goes to the Knicks.
Ooh.
We're just gonna add on to that
tumultuous disappointment.
That tumultuous tenure as a Knicks fan. You're getting DeMarcus Cousins.
After they hear this pod, they're not. After that speech you just went through, we're not making that mistake.
You're getting Cousins. He's going to work alongside Julius Randle, and you might win 20 games.
I think they'd win more than that with Cousins. A healthy Cousins.
Yeah. And the text he's going to pick up?
I hope he has a renaissance comeback season.
It's a good question. I honestly don't know. I think he is in absolute shock right now that he is not getting calls.
Right? I can't believe it either.
I don't think he's shocked. I think because when he came back from the injury, he was showing signs of getting back into a groove and getting back into the DeMarcus that we've seen.
Then he got hurt again.
The quad injury put him out, and it was I talked to a lot of people, and they're like, you saw him get back on the court, and they're like, yo, he put on some weight. Like he didn't care. He was like, whatever, I should be out for a couple of weeks. I'm just gonna sit down and relax, but he didn't do anything. So when he came back on, you can visually see he put on some weight. He was winded out there, and it was just like if he had put a little effort in the offseason or
Would help
that
him
side of the offseason, but that time off, and he jumped back in, he might have been more of a deciding factor in those playoff games.
But we don't know his mindset, right? Like, I can't imagine what it's like to be a top tier player, right? Considered one of the best players in the league.
Perennial
He
All-Star.
was. To getting injured, to not getting any offers,
Yep.
to coming back and getting injured again. Right? Like, he may have went through like a bout of depression or something. Right?
I'm going to talk about Golden State before we're done, their medical staff. But first I'm going to say, if Kawhi Leonard stays in Toronto, I think the two LA teams are going to fight for Cousins' services. Mainly because if you have Cousins coming off the bench for the Lakers, that could help this dusty old team. And the Clippers could use anybody if they don't get... Because here's the thing about the Clippers that I don't understand. We talk about the Clippers making the playoffs, being this great team. The Clippers were first. And when they traded Harris, they fell all the way down to 8th.
They weren't first when they traded Harris.
Second? Third?
No, I think they were like 4th or 5th.
Whatever. Point is, they barely squeaked into the playoffs. If Harris wasn't there last year, they're not a playoff team. So I don't understand why you think Kawhi Leonard's going to go to a non-playoff team.
Because they beat Golden State 2 times.
That's great. The Raptors beat them 4.
Yeah, I don't know. I was being sarcastic.
I get it.
That's what I keep on hearing on ESPN.
I hear that. But I'm just like, I don't understand the logic
They
behind
beat a Golden State team that did not care.
basically.
Right?
I just don't understand what the logic is behind that. One more thing before we get to Golden State. Is Danny Green being smart by waiting for Kawhi to sign?
I think he's going to get the same amount no matter where he goes. So why not? He's not getting no max contract. Most will get his mid, right? So he knows that. Everyone else knows that.
Like,
so
Dallas will give him 8 figures. The Toronto Raptors can give him 8 figures.
Yeah, he'll get mid level. I mean, he'll get something, right? But my point is he knows that those signings haven't started yet.
Yep.
Right, with the exception of Julius Randle, those signings haven't really happened yet, right? So
That's sad.
That
is sad.
It's. I feel sorry for Julius Randle too because he's being like made fun of a lot.
Yeah, and that's not his fault.
That's not his fault.
He's just playing ball. Like, leave the guy alone. He didn't even sign a big deal. He just signed a
exactly.
deal.
He signed a deal that he was worth.
Yeah.
Right.
And people are just
ripping him to shreds.
Shout out to Julius Randle. They ain't being fair, bro.
They're not making fun of him.
No,
but they kind of are.
They really are. It's really disrespectful.
You're just poking fun of the man.
Man. Like, you don't deserve this.
But anyway, I think Danny Green. I think he basically says if Kawhi stays in Toronto, I'll resign. If Kawhi goes somewhere else, then I could choose where I could.
I'm gonna go to Dallas.
But yeah, but I don't think. But if I'm saying, if you sign back Kawhi, do you undersell Danny? Because obviously you're gonna give Kawhi a good piece of money, but are you gonna pay?
I think Danny Green will get a certain amount.
We have his bird rights, so we can pay him $10 million.
Yeah.
And I think Dallas will give him $10 million because I don't know what's wrong with Dallas. I don't know what they do with their money. They'll probably give him $10 million.
Well, they have 3 players they got to pay. Kristoff, they got
They haven't paid him yet because they want to sign Danny Green because they can go over the cap to sign Kristoff.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I feel like Danny is putting himself in a realm that he doesn't belong in right now.
I think he's mid-level. I think he is. He had a poor playoffs, yes, but
he's mid-level, but for you to go out there and even for people to report that you're not signing, I'm like, who are you?
Well, hold on.
He's not saying that.
He's saying he's waiting for Kawhi to sign.
Yeah.
But again, who are you?
Listen to the resume. Right? All defensive player shoots 45% from behind 3 and is a shooting guard on 2 championship teams.
Hey, Patrick McCaw got 3 championships.
Hey, let's look at the resume. Where'd he go this year? Where'd he sign this year? Is he in Toronto again?
Ooh, Patrick McCaw?
That guy's a lucky charm right now. I'm signing him. If I'm Philly, I'm signing that guy. Hey, how much money you want? We need you.
Anyway, but yeah, just to finish off, I really believe that he just wants to be happy. He knows he's going to get the same amount no matter what he does. Yep. So why not? Why not wait?
That's fair. All right. The last thing I'm going to talk about. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, DeMarcus Cousins, all Golden State Warriors.
Looney.
Because Kawhi Leonard punched that guy in the chest. That doesn't count. That's not really an
Iguodala
injury.
was injured.
That was last year.
No,
So
he
that's
injured
4.
this year too?
That's okay. That's
No,
4.
Yeah.
Because Iguodala talked about it. That's why they traded him. Don't get anything. There's something going on with Golden State's medical staff where they're putting guys on the court and getting them hurt. And we heard what Iguodala said. They want him on the court when he said he wasn't well. Okay,
Not what he said.
that's what he said.
No, it's not what he
He said last one was torn, and they said it was something else.
No, what he said was, I had a fracture.
Yep. Oh yeah, sorry.
But Golden State put in the media that it was a bone bruise.
Yep.
So I think it's dirty what Golden State is doing, right? Underselling injuries to the media, because it puts undue pressure on the player.
It does, but it puts more pressure on the organization if your all-star or your superstar is down, and then they're like, because then every other game now or every other day, you're asking about, well, what's going to happen with this? What's going to happen with this?
makes you wonder why they would
was
do it, right?
Yeah, if they said he was out, then it's fine. He's got a fracture. He's not playing. Cool. Kevin Durant, it's got a calf injury. He's not playing. Klay Thompson, he tore his hamstring. Not playing. Right? Because here's what I think. Those muscles are all connected. The cortisone shots he's taking in his hamstring, the next thing to go is the Achilles. That's what happened. You got that's 4 players. One guy's talking about it. The other 2 got max contracts to not play. Kevin Durant had a max contract offer to not play. Klay had a max contract offer. Now, the new arena that Golden State built, they own that arena, the owners. So the money they make, they don't care what they're spending on their players. That's case in point. But is there something to be said about a team that is willing to sacrifice their players' bodies like that?
Teams have been doing it for years.
But not in this age.
No.
That's the difference. At this age, everyone knows no. So I agree with you. The teams were doing it for years, but it was behind closed doors. Right now, everyone knows. The entire public is basically saying Golden State injured Kevin Durant.
Yep.
Right? And now Iguodala goes on the Breakfast Club and basically...
They did the same thing to me.
Said, yeah, they did the same thing to me. Right? Like it's a really bad look for Golden State.
I think this goes deeper. I'm looking at it from a different angle where because loyalty seems to be diminished in the NBA. So that's why people are so free to say stuff. Because remember when Grant Hill had his injury, Anthony Hardaway had his injury. Those guys stayed loyal to the teams. Those teams stayed paying them, but their careers got shortened. Like I remember Penny going down, and Penny sitting on Orlando's bench, sitting on Phoenix Suns bench, and barely managed to finish off his career.
Yep.
Grant Hill injured his ankle in the playoffs. He said it was okay. I'm gonna keep playing on it. But what happened to him? He lost a couple years of his career. He finished off, I think, with the Clippers or the Suns.
One of the 2.
But the thing is that, but it was years after they were like, yeah, I wasn't.
Oh, Suns. Because everyone went to the Suns to rehab and play.
Yeah, but they were saying that they're rushing me. They're saying it's fine. You can play on it, and it cost him his career. But because there was loyalty, they weren't looking to buy you out. They weren't looking. Yeah, they weren't.
No, that's not. The doctors are employees of the team. They will always have the team's best interest first.
But I'm thinking they're getting pressure from higher ups.
Yeah.
As much as I'm employed by the team.
The teammates, everyone.
Of course they are.
So they're saying you're good. He's saying no, I don't feel good. It's like, don't worry, just
good.
play on it.
Well, the thing is, and like you hear Perk on ESPN and those guys say, right? Like it's the subtle stuff they say.
Perk's like Wikipedia, man. I can't trust that guy.
Even in the media, right? Like that.
How you feeling?
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, Kevin Durant will be back for Game 4. Oh, Kevin Durant will be back for Game 5. Right? It puts that. It makes you feel bad, especially when your team's down 3-1. You want to go play. You shouldn't.
But you
want to go play.
Yeah,
and they're banking on that. They're banking on you making that emotional choice, not the logical one.
Yep.
And going to play, and that's what's shady.
But I find like that's just as much. You're a grown ass man.
Wow.
Like you got to be able to make that decision. Like what's the worst if Durant was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just not gonna play. If we lose, we lose because my next payday's coming.
I'm going to Brooklyn anyways.
It makes you wonder where was his Uncle Dennis.
That's what I said. And here's what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen is someone sprains their ankle next season. They're sitting out 20 games.
But that's it.
Their agent, the trainer, every person around that player is like, you aren't playing nothing, especially if you got paid. And a lot of guys got paid this year. I bet you're going to see a ton of these players sitting out 15.
But that's
I think ankle injuries maybe not.
Not ankle, but I'm saying anything happens.
Leg injury where there's potential for a much more dangerous injury. Then yeah, I absolutely agree with you.
Someone's going to sprain their pinky finger and they're sit out.
Well, look at Isaiah Thomas. He got screwed more than anybody.
The Isaiah Thomas rule, the Ethan Thomas and the NFL rule. These guys. Here's another thing. That's why I think a lot of guys are not trying to play in Boston because a lot of teams don't do this. Because when it happened to Katie and it happened to Klay Thompson, what did Golden State do? Offer them both the max. What did the Boston Celtics do?
They traded his ass.
That's disloyal.
Like I said, you're a grown man. You're playing. You know what you like. I said, if you know your payday's coming, sit down.
If I was KD, I would have sat.
Because the pressure is, like I said, the aforementioned guys,
Yep.
Grant Hill, Anthony Hardaway, they took that road that you took, but they weren't. They were getting pressured, but it wasn't as socialized out there.
I guess
and
Grant
look at
Hill
the
still
cost.
got paid too, huh?
He got paid, but the thing is that, the thing is that they got pressured, and they felt themselves that they should play. And look what it cost them their careers.
Yep.
Like this could, like we talked about the Nets and what can happen when they team up. This injury might just cost his career.
Yep.
He might now fall from grace. He might not be the KD anymore.
Yep. And for what?
Exactly.
It's not like you won a championship and that happened. At least I walked away a champion. You walked away
a loser.
A loser.
But I also feel like the Golden State Warriors thought they were entitled to this championship. They thought they were better than the Raptors because the media told them they were so much better than this team. But
even without Durant, they were saying
Ibaka, all defensive. Green, all defensive. Gasol, all defensive. Kawhi, all NBA. And when's the last time Kyle Lowry missed an All-Star game? Why did no one tell Golden State about that?
But Golden State was in their feelings too because they just beat up Portland.
Yeah,
right? They honestly believed that they could have won without Kevin Durant.
They thought they're great because remember all the Smythe, they won 6 in a row without Kevin Durant, and they were talking like they were great.
Not Danny Green,
Draymond
Green, right? Saying whatever he said to Durant, we won without you.
Yeah.
You beat a Cleveland team that looked very much like the Golden State team Raptors beat.
Yep.
Right? Like, so I think you're right. I think they thought high of themselves.
Yep.
And they wanted to prove a point. And then when they were down 3-1, they went to desperation mode. And Kevin Durant paid the price. But Mark, you're absolutely right. At the end of the day, he had to have agreed to play. Couldn't have forced him.
I say all the time, he had so many people around him that failed him on that one situation. I can't even. And to me, I lost respect for his agents, his teammates, his friends, his family. Every single person around that guy should have told that guy to sit down.
No? What if they did tell him no?
I
cannot see an agent telling him to go play.
No,
any agent.
Listen, someone had to be the person that said, "Hey, you are not playing," because he needed a friend at that point, and that's when the teammates, all those guys went the wrong way. He's like, "Listen, man, you are going to get a max contract no matter what. You don't need this championship. You gave them 2."
Absolutely right. Stephen Curry should have been in the room saying, "You don't need to play."
Nope.
Klay Thompson should have been in the room saying, "You don't need to play."
Bad teammates. I'm happy he left them. That's anything to sign off. That's it. That's it for me.
I'm ending with this: is that regardless of what age you are, peer pressure is still existent. Because clearly, that's what happened. He got peer pressured into it, and look what it cost him.
Can't say anything better than that.
It's pretty good. All right. We love sports.